I will get confused. I will fail the exam.
My wife wants to convert her foreign driver license into a German one. And as a driving instructor, I thought that might be the perfect way how to explain it step by step with our own example. So let's start this new Fahrlingo family adventure. Hello, Paola.
Hello, how are you?
Good, very good, very good. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I have driven in Colombia, not that much, and my intention is to gain more independence by getting my own license and being able to move around. It will never be the same as having your own license and being able to decide where you go, when you go, and how you go independently, even though Dario takes me everywhere. My intention as a woman is to also be independent in that respect and to be able to move around on my own. So, we are going to start the process to change my license.
Great! So, I have prepared a small video explaining how you can change your license. Hello! If you want to convert your foreign driver license into a German one, there are a lot steps to be considered. You have to visit the local driver license office called Führerscheinstelle. Yeah, I know German is not that easy, but here we go.
At this appointment, Dario, everything will be in German, of course.
Sometimes they speak English, but many times you have to speak German to be
Okay.
honest.
And could I go with someone for support?
Oh, I will accompany you, but it's important for others to know you don't have to go alone. You can or should go personally, but you can invite someone else to help translate for you.
Someone to provide translation support. Thanks.
Until you have your appointment there, you can already start with some documents you have to prepare. I have forgotten something important. In case you are considering to convert your driver license, please be sure that you hit all 6 criteria to fit the legal requirements to avoid a bad awakening at the driver license office. I have set up a free WhatsApp chatbot to help you to verify that you're actually allowed to convert your driver license in less than a minute. Check out the link in the description below if you're watching this from a mobile phone, or just pause the video to scan these QR code. Alright, let's go on with the video. First, check an appointment at your local driver license office. Get a qualified translator to translate your driver license, that the officer can actually read your driver license. Book a first aid course, a vision test, and get some pictures for your future driver license. However, there might be some additional steps you have to do depending on your local driver license office.
So, it might be best to go through a single place that can easily handle everything for you, like doing it through Faringo.
Yes, it sounds a bit like advertisement at this moment, but in fact, it's super complicated. And right now, we are making a list to see what the requirements are at all the Führerscheinstellen in Germany. So if you want to call us, or we can tell you what you need to bring for your special case. Llevar en su caso especial.
Okay.
If this sounds a little bit foggy, you might be totally right. But we are here to bring a bit more light into the procedure. The officer will actually categorize you into 2 possible categories. One would be privileged states and one would be unprivileged states, depending on the origin of your driver license. In other words, from which country you got your driver license. If you are one of the lucky ones and your country is listed as privileged state, you might have the option that you don't have to present any exam and you can just change and convert your driver license. However, it might be as well that you have to present theory exam or maybe just the practical exam. All this is noted on a special list I've put below in the description. If you are not one of the privileged states but unprivileged states, there might be two options. First, it might be that you just have to present practical exam and theory exam.
Como vengo de Colombia,
As I come from Colombia, I am not within the privileged countries, and therefore I must take the practical exam and the theoretical exam and hope they don't ask me to take all the number of classes they require. Now, how do I know which type of country I am in?
de país estoy.
In fact, there is a list like a PDF that the German government provides that explains which countries are within the privileged state range and which are not. And if you want, you can read all that below in the description. We put the link. Or, in fact, you can ask us directly too, and we can tell you live if you find it a bit complicated.
Okay.
However, the officer has all freedom to deny to convert your driver license. In that case, you have to present not only the practical and the theoretical exam, you have also attend at least 14 classes of 19 minutes in a driving school and have at least 12 mandatory driving classes including highway, landscape and driving at night. So most of you probably just have to present the practical and the theoretical exam. So even if you're on the unprivileged list, it's still a big advantage if you just have to present the exams and you're free of doing the whole license in Germany.
And what is the theoretical exam like, or what does it require in itself?
Well, it is like you have to know that we already learned that you have to take both exams in your case. So, yes, I also prepared a small video for that. Let's see. Alright, let's talk about the theory exam. The theory exam consists of 30 questions out of a pool of 1,600 questions at least. Each year there are 50 questions more, so right now it's around 1,600 questions you have to know. Do I have to know all questions? Well, of course, you shouldn't memorize them all, but you should be able to answer all of them. The theory exam just takes about 10 minutes if you know the questions. However, you have 45 minutes time to answer all 30 questions. It's done inside TÜV, so it's not in the driving school but in an official place called TÜV or sometimes DEKRA. If you have to present the theory exam, the first thing what I would recommend you is check out a free theory example exam to check how it's going actually.
Cuando hablas de este primer paso,
When you talk about this first step, what is it like? Is it to prepare myself or to see how the exam is done, to understand the way they ask the questions? What kind of answers are multiple choice, single answer?
Yes, there are some free simulations. Obviously, not many, like one or two. One also from Falingo, and there you can see for free how the exam will be and get a first sense of where things are going.
Yes, a guide to how the exam will be, okay?
However, after this, the next step is buying a theory app. And after buying the theory app, you have to learn. I would recommend you that you do all theory questions at least one time until you have all of them at least one time correct. After finishing all questions at least one time, go over to present some exam simulations to check if you really know the question.
These simulations are the final step. If I studied all 1600, how long will it take me to study these questions?
If you study half an hour each day, you need almost 2 months to get all the questions right. So, obviously, if you study more hours, but let's be honest, as you are working, doing your daily things, it's very difficult to sit down and study 8 hours, right?
Being very precise with time, is it likely that I could pass it in a month?
Yes, or of course less. It can also be done in a week. I had a student who was a professor at Goethe University. He was the first in the mathematical competition in Pakistan, and he did it in one weekend. But I'm not that smart. I don't think we can recommend learning it in one weekend.
Okay, because it also depends on each person, right?
Yes, and well, as a teacher too, I'm going to tell you, even though you don't want to hear, but the truth is, of course, you want to pass the exam. But think also, it's like then you have to drive according to the rules, and if you only learn it by memory and then forgot it, then you're going to need a lot of time in classes. Because, yes, I can explain it to you, but in the end, it's money, and the more time I explain to you, the less you can drive.
That is, sit down with dedication to study the questions, to integrate the information, and then this information will be useful to me for the practical exam or for the practical classes if required.
Yes,
And the final simulation, where do I do it?
also in the application. You do several, it depends on you when you say, I'm ready.
The same application throws me an algorithm and chooses 30 questions, and I answer them, and it tells me I'm ready.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And last but not least, book the theory exam. This you do normally at your driving school. So you go to the driving school and ask for an exam place for the theory exam.
Yes, okay, and now regarding the practical exam, how is it?
The last video with information about the practical exam. Meanwhile, you are learning or preparing already for your theory exam. You can start already with driving and prepare yourself for the driving test in case you have to do it. The first step to prepare for the driving exam is subscribe at a driving school and call a teacher to make a first driving class. In the first appointment, your driving teacher will check your abilities regarding the driving exam if you drive accordingly to pass the exam.
When I do my practical classes here, will it be the same car like that one I use for the exam?
Yes.
I already know it. I am familiar with it.
Yes. Depending on the results, you need some driving classes and training. And at the end of any training comes some exam simulation to check if you're able to pass the driving exam before you actually take it.
I consider that I drive well.
Everyone says
Under the
that.
driving rules in Colombia, however, well, when I drove here, it was always next to you with your help, and there were many things I completely didn't know and that at some point overwhelmed me. Well, in addition to the highway, it's a bit too much. I have respect for it, but beyond that, the classes are very important so that one can really understand the system, which is a bit different here. Driving in Germany. First, because they have no speed limit in some parts, and that has to be treated with a lot of care. And second, because there are many traffic symbols that, for example, do not exist in Colombia, and rules that I also never heard before, like right before left. So, yes, it is important that it is the teacher at the end who tells me that I am completely prepared, even though I think I'm ready.
Yes, the thing is that many people think they can drive, but it's not about being good in the car and knowing how to handle the car. What the examiner really wants to see is that you drive appropriate according to the rules that you have learned in the theoretical application. And apart from that, it is super important that many completely ignore is that the way you use the mirrors, there are pre-established orders or processes that they want to see that you have internalized as a new habit.
Yes, that is to say that in the practice you are competent to respond absolutely to the German traffic regulations, right?
And that, well, that makes it a bit complicated sometimes, but everything can be learned. And last but not least, you have to book the exam. But in that case, It's your driving teacher who will book the exam together with you, so you don't have to do it. When you're ready, your teacher will book your slot.
This exam, Dario, is completely in German, of course, and inside the exam, only the examiner speaks to me, no one else.
I can give you some small tips, but in fact, it's forbidden in German. I cannot speak in Spanish because if I do, the examiner thinks I'm giving advice and he doesn't understand it because he might not speak Spanish.
Or English.
Yes, or English. So it's in German, and depending on the examiner, I can help a little bit more or a little less.
I will get confused. I will fail the exam.
I developed a language course exactly for that. It definitely helps you because it is a disadvantage when the examiner says turn 3 lanes to the left and you are thinking, no, what did he say? And you already missed the time. You have less time to react. But that's why I recommend you to prepare yourself well because yes,
Can it be one of the reasons why you failed the exam that easily? A possible reason?
you never fail because of communication, but through a misunderstanding. You make a driving mistake, and if you had understood it well, then you would not fail.
Okay. Well, yes, I want to start now.
Okay, we're ready. Well, in the next video, before we start with the process, we are going to talk about possible types of driving license in Germany because there are some differences. And well, if you have any questions or doubts, use the conversion check to reach us via WhatsApp.
Gracias, Darío.
De nada,
hasta luego,
ciao ciao.